Alright, let's see what this is hiding. Rotten. Okay, let's talk about repairing the back. Now, after giving this a wire brush for probably about an hour now, this was all kind of had the surface rust, as you can see there, everywhere. Looks like someone made a botch repair in this in the past. They just basically painted Schultz all over it, and the Schultz basically started showing the rust coming through it. But luckily, it's solid, but it just has that painting all over it. I'm actually happy with this. I don't think there's any need to replace anything. Went around the sides, you can see a little gap missing here. That's from someone getting in there with what looked like a tin opener and putting in a retractable aerial at one stage rather. I have that welded, as you've seen from before, from the other side. Everywhere seems to be fine. Load clean up nicely, except for here. So, don't know what the name of this is. A strike plate for the boot. I'm not too sure. The trunk, whichever way you want to look at it. But you can see here that we got a failure in the seal here, and the rock kind of got down in between these two plates. It seemed to rot from both sides. Now I was going to just go and cut out this, but I seen that this is all covered in filler. Maybe suspicious. I took it back a little bit and found a hole here. The side, curled back a fair bit. So I'm contemplating taking off this plate, just drilling out the spot welds, which, as you all know, I haven't had much luck at doing so far. But I want to cut out spot welds to remove these brackets down here and get in. As you can see, there's a bit of unhappiness hidden under here. So I think I'm going to have to go and take this plate off, look at it inside, do the repairs, probably repair this plate separately, and then put the two of them back together again with my own style spot welds, and put in rust treatment inhibitor and weld through primer in between these two plates. And then I think when we connect these up, I might go across here with a bit of seam sealer and just seal it up so that we don't risk any moisture coming back in there again. So small jobs become big jobs, as always. Bit of a tough one. I got there. That'd probably make a lot of you guys cringe just seeing me drilling out the spot welds like that, but I don't have one of those little spot weld cutters. Probably should have bought one. Would have been a good idea. Let's have a look. So we have the plate mostly off. Alright, let's see what this is hiding. Look at that. Rotten. True and true. All the way in the back of this. And there you go. Don't ignore just the surface weld. Dig a little bit deeper, guys. Horrible shit going on in the background. This is all repairable though. The mass majority of it's actually up on the top here. The plate's nice and solid down there, so we've got something structural to weld onto. Likewise. So we're just going to weld a plate that comes up and just kind of goes back on that crease there just to give it support. And then we can treat all in here with our inhibitor and then put it all back together again. It's crazy, isn't it? So we've got to be very careful keeping everything in line here, because we've got a door, a seal and a latch all involved in this area. You can see that kind of moves in, especially now that the integrity is gone out of this. So we're going to use this plate, lock it on here, and these 2 points. At least we know that that face is going to be pretty much exactly where it was before, and then we can just basically weld in these plates. Keep dropping this plate back on down on top of it to make sure it all lines up, and we shouldn't go too far astray. Everything is quite nice in where it's complicated, which is good. I'd hate to see a load of rust gone in down here or down in here. It's going to be easy to treat this. So we're getting away lucky with it. This is all above, literally pointing right up at me. Blessing in disguise. Just because I like making life hard for myself, I'm going to go and see if I can fab up these plates by hand. I'm going to Okay, I have it actually locked in place, lining up all the original drill holes. And now I'm going to probably fix this center part back down here so that that can't move in or out. And then everything else can basically line up around that. So I'm going to be replacing big sections right here and here. So we'll start by just basically bracing this off that plate back there. Okay, I put in this brace bar here. Just basically make sure that no matter what kind of work I do here or here, that this striker point is going to be the exact same where it was originally. All of the holes are lining up everywhere. And it's just a matter of actually start cutting away these now. Happy out. Okay, so I'm going to start this side. It's lost all structural integrity there, the hole that's just wobbling left to right. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut down below the line here, then up, and then we're just going to follow this contour out to here. It's going to be an awkward one, but I think I prefer that than actually kind of coming down here and trying to get all these angles in here below. So we'll try and come up and just come up above. Hopefully there's enough material there to work with. So we'll start by removing that. This is the old piece, and this is the new piece of steel I'm going to use to replace it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roughly etch out where that would lie and kind of just get a rough cutout of the part that I'm going to replace it with. So we'll start with that now. Where it gets a little bit tough. So let's start marking out on one side and roughly estimating where the bend is going to occur. Estimate that's going to occur here on this side. Roughly estimate it's going to occur somewhere around there. I'm going to do the same again and just bend it up. Okay, so I give that a little trim back here, kind of lock this fella down to where it should be. Hopefully it'll be fairly close at that. And then I've gone down the back here and I just etched in the blue line here. And behind this I've etched in a line here to cut this so I can get that to sit down to where it should be. So we'll cut that out now. Alright, cut at the bottom and we've side in there with a little gap. And we're following a nice line, just we're basically trimming as we go and working our way around. And now we've got a nice little gap up there, which is perfect for the welder. My line is a little bit lost here, but I'm not too worried about it. I will be seam sealing all of this here because I think that's what's happened with the old one. It failed and cracked up, so I'm not too worried about the line being a couple of mil in there. Now we're going to try and define this edge here and tap that in. What's next? And just knock that back around 2 bits of RSJ. Okay, so we're going through all the way around. We knocked out all the rust. We're just basically going to create that lip so that it is straight all the way across. It'll just be up 3 or 4 mil, then a straight line cut. And it's actually going to look nicer than the majority of the rest of it. So we'll get that cut off now, and then we can actually get fitting very quickly. Okay, here's our plate. Took me about 35-40 minutes to make it up, and this is just going to get reorientated. Fit right in here. We're having a lovely July here. You can hear in the background. It's stopped raining since June. Alright, there we go. That's it. Ready to go in. The position here It's online there to try and see if I can get a bit more data on. Is this actually a curve here or a straight line? I think I have enough evidence to say that it is a curve. Once the other plate guides it, it should be fine. So what we do now is do a bit of rust treatment here. And at the back here, and this can go in. Voila. Okay, as you can see, the rust treatment is on. Cool little spots here, just to make sure that's okay. So obviously before I weld this, I'll clean off the inhibitor. This is just to kind of get deep into any pores that are there and get rid of any kind of crap reactions that are there. And likewise at the back here, so this is not too bad. Once again, same story. We're going to try and see if we can do something very, very similar to the other side. So we'll clear it off to see where the rust really ends. See how much material we can keep. Cut this out, rinse and repeat. So these fellas will have to work out where they go back again. I'm not definitely how I'm going to do it, but I think we'll just have to take measurements off the piece of plastic as far as I know that goes here, and get them spot welded back on again. There's two of them, one from the side as well. They're cutting. So I got this placed on, lined up here with a little nick up here, so it's just sitting tight. I was able to kind of push this back a little bit, not all the way, but I was able to mark out this line, so hopefully that mirrors this fairly close. When we push it in, there might be a little bit of a gap, but I think you're just best off just going for it. Got her placed in, a little mark underneath here and here. It's kind of eyeballing it for now. If we need to go and shift them out a little bit after, we can do that after. So we're going to bend this down to give us this little lip here all the way. So let's see if this fits in any way at all. I think that would work. So I've marked an edge here and here, so we can trim off this overcut. And I've knocked our little line here and here so that it fits in perfectly over here. Okay, she's clamped in place on the inside here and there. And everything's lining up nicely. Just needs to squeeze down a little touch there just to close that. That's both sides done. Now I'm just going to go in on this joint here and put in a little bit of rust inhibitor. And I'm actually waiting for a delivery of weld-through primer, because that joint, when I'm kind of spot welding that there, we don't want to be kind of exposing metal just through the heat. So I've got a very deformed kind of edge here. Okay, I've since gone off and ordered a slam panel for this fella. I look at trying to rescue this plate here, but it's we've been wanting to replace it with nice fresh steel here, but all the way along here you can see it was actually buckled and it's all out of shape, and I just had no interest in trying to straighten it up. So these panels are sprayed like so. That will fit on here, and you've got weld-through primer on both sides there. So I think what we'll do now is just get the ball rolling and getting these installed. Okay, I have both plates welded in. I ran out of the mopping disc, so I didn't get to quite fully finish this off tonight, but it's pretty close. Let's do both sides, and we're just going to see how everything lines up. It's perfectly lined up with all the original tack holes on that side. Here, the little slip plate, perfect. And here, this one got a little bit bent back when I wire brushed it, but that's pretty much spot on. This is all new plate under here, so you can't see any of the drill holes, but this is the original hole location. And you can see that that fella lines up nicely with that side. And there's a little natural curve that's in it. It's not a straight edge here, it kind of arcs out just a little bit, and to maintain that. So that is good. So I think we're going to put on some weld-through primer and let this sit for a few days until my new plate comes. And that is the copper weld-through primer on. I just only noticed now that's almost identical to the original colour of the car, which is quite funny. So the weld-through primer will cover off all this area, and when we have it tacked weld, what I'm going to do is going to put the plate on top here, and probably weld them back, so there'll be very little kind of visible indents where the welds will be. Probably a little bit awkward to weld from the back, but I think it would pay off that when you look at the slam plate, that it'll look perfectly natural the way it came from the factory. So yeah, very happy with that. That'll keep that all tight. And then when we have this slam plate in, we can remove that plate off the back. So it's now free to get back to its natural position. Alright folks, that's it for this episode. Good solid steel in, happy days. We're going to have to wait a few days for this other plate to come. That's going to replace this one. This one is absolutely banjacks, as you can see. So in the next episode, we'll get that plate stuck on, and then we're going to turn our attention to just below the taillights. We're going to look at flushing that off. On the 280, they come with these dimples that holds onto a plate, and we'll be looking at getting them knocked back in, and the technique of kind of getting a more flush finish on it there. That's slightly different than the 240 and the 260 Zs. Guys, as always, if you could give me a note, subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye bye.